Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there, you gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, if that people knew that glorious path, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage. We are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
All right. Welcome to another week of Manifestations 2020. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for each and every week. We're coming up to the end of the year, man, and we had a great ride this season on Manifestations. It's coming toward the end of this year, so, we got a lot of great things coming up and a lot of good things starting next year as well. With that being said, I did want to highlight some things that I saw I would say this week or just recently, a lot of women just making a lot of delusional posts, and it's kind of crazy because it's the same women that say that they don't want to start gender wars, but yet they sit back and make posts about gender wars, that creates gender wars. And so I saw a lot of delusional things that it just needed to be addressed. Um, I was scrolling through my post one day and I saw a woman say, for me, I think that men have it easy. So if I was to be reincarnated into a man, if I was to be reincarnated to a gender, I would want to come back this life as a man instead of a woman. And I normally don't go under people's posts, but I went under her post and I said, yeah, oh, you feel like being a man is easier than being a woman? Oh, okay. Well, tell me why you feel that way. And as soon as I said that, it was a white woman that jumped under my comment and came on with the Karen business. And when she came on with the Karen business, she started saying, "Oh yeah, because men, the reason it's like that is because men don't know how to um, show their emotions. So they're told not to show their emotions and some BS crap that didn't even have nothing to do with the initial question of what I was asking the original person who posted." So she went into this rant about that, and I said, ma'am, how is that possible when everything that is created on this earth is created by a man? Some of your hardest jobs are created by men. I said, this is why men are 3 times more likely to commit suicide. And I think that's what she was referring to when I said that, is that we don't control our emotions. That's why we have more of a suicide rate than women. And I called it out as bullshit. Men have a lot of pressure and a lot of things on their plate because they are expected to do way more than what women are expected to do. We have to make sure that we have enough finances, not only for us to survive in this world, but also we have enough resources for ourselves, the children we create, our parents that never succeeded and had the resources that we had. So they kind of rely on their children to kind of be the supplementary financial factor for them to live the life comfortable enough for themselves. So now you're also putting extra pressure on your child because you didn't achieve what you needed to achieve as an adult. And so your child has to carry that extra weight to make sure that you're straight as his parents. Then he has to make sure that his children are straight, his children are able to eat. And then if he has a girlfriend or a wife, he got to make sure she's straight. And sometimes when people procreate with these women and they not in the same household, depending on how much he cares about his children, even when she is a dysfunctional woman herself, sometimes these guys that make good money also supply this woman with extra money. Every time she fucks up something, she has a safety net with a lot of the guys because a lot of these women luck up with some good, real, honorable stand-up guys. And sometimes their children also bears a bit more of a financial strain on them because they know if the woman has custody of their children, they cannot see that woman fall into wayside because if she falls to wayside, his children fall to wayside. So if she says, "Oh, I'm $200 off my rent," he has to come up with the extra $200 for that rent because his children are going to suffer if they don't have nowhere to have a roof over their head, or that money might be coming out of their food money. Instead of eating a quality meal, maybe they have to buy a pack of ramen noodles and last that for them for the whole week. So even in that instance, that he has to financially be stable for not only his household, but her household as well. So there's three different households he has to worry about: his parents' household, his household, and his child's mother's household. And guess what? When his child's mother doesn't have no money, she runs to her child, the father of her children. When the parents don't really have no money, they run to their male child in the out of their children. And then the children, if they have extracurricular activities, maybe the programs or football, cheerleading, haircuts, school clothes, school supplies, all of that, then he has to make sure that he has money for that as well. So the demand of financial strain from the child, the financial strain from the child's mother, and the financial strain from the parents. And guess what? The guy, he has to make sure he has it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody that this guy can go to ask. You get what I'm saying? So he got to make sure he got 2 or 3 jobs just to hustle up and make sure he's afloat, not only for himself, but make sure that he's afloat and have enough floats that the extra weight is not pulling him underneath the water. So I was laying out all of these things that builds up the pressure on a man, and let her as a woman realize, like, it's not easy to be a man. I would never make a post that said it's easy to be a woman. A woman has different dynamics of a man that is pretty hard as well. You know what I'm saying? But I would never sit back and have the man over the woman or the woman over the man. We both equally have it hard on ourselves. But if you want to look from a society standpoint, a man has it extra hard based on him being the provider and how the society sees him as the leader and the organizer of laws that need to be laid down. So when I was saying all of that, she come back with some, oh, well, this is up my field. And she sent a little link. And I said, okay, I clicked on the link and I read what I needed to read off of it. And I came back and I said, you sent me a link of something that is pretty much, it's not a link that is a government statistical thing. It was called a peer research link, right? So she sent me a peer research link. And I told her, I said, look, peer research links, they're not actually factual stuff. These are just people that just gyrate a bunch of opinions amongst each other and report it down and send off a link of a general census of what the topic is at hand. But these links aren't linked to statistical facts or anything like that. It's just a research piece. That's it, without the factual statistics on it. And I told her that, and she got mad. She was like, "Oh, this was amongst a bunch of peers." I said, "Ma'am, it's a bias. It can be a biased piece." And then I gave her the Google. Even Google had the definition of that peer pieces are biased. They can be misled and biased based on the people writing it. You get what I'm saying? So I laid all of that out, and she didn't say nothing. After I did that, she didn't say shit because she couldn't say shit. She could not say anything on that because I laid out the facts of everything that let her know, like, what you sent me is biased. That's like me watching MSNBC to expect them to talk truthful about the Democratic Party when we know that's a biased media base that supports the Democratic Party. They promote a lot of stuff on the Democratic Party. Or I can go on the Fox side and say, expecting them to be factual about the Republican Party when I know they're more fact-based or supportive of the Republican side. So it's the same thing. The piece you're sending me is a piece that is based on biasness within the people who are gathering this piece together to formulate it into a summary in a paragraph for other people to read. So the thing, what I'm saying is, I really like to go on people's page, not to show them up, but to show them how you combat people and making sure that narratives don't get pushed out there and you just sucking it all up. Because one thing this Karen said, right? This white woman said to me was, oh, I have all the degrees and everything like that. And I said, ma'am, the degrees don't make you educated. It just means you're indoctrinated. There's a big difference. You get what I'm saying? So don't come to me with no bullshit like that because I'm not that guy. Right. And that's why I say, that's why that whole argument, she already knew. Because one thing I could tell you about white folks, I've studied white folks, I've been around them. I know the difference of the different varieties of white folks. But one thing that they all have in common is they'll test the water with black folks. Mm-hmm. And what they'll do is they'll test the water with you to see your intelligence. Yeah. If they know they can't be that savior person that you look up to, that black person will look up to this white woman like a god or a goddess, whatever they want to look up to her, like she's a hierarchy or anything like that. If they notice that you don't have that sentiment toward them, they will tuck their tail and haul ass.
Truth. All facts.
They would not engage in anything because they know that you will make them not only look bad, but you'll expose them for their hidden agenda of who they truly are. And that's why a lot of these white folks like to creep up into black spaces and black people's pages and link on to certain black folks because they know that when they come with their basic knowledge of what consensus of what they have in their head, if it's something that you don't challenge, they feel real comfortable to sit in your space as the person that you got to look up to and honor for any type of feedback or information. So they look like the kingpin on your page, but on my page, they look like the pheasant that has to go chill off in the corner before they get some lashings from the king. You get what I'm saying? So there's a difference that people don't understand, and you have to vet these people out. Major talks about vetting when it comes to relationships and all that, but also vetting is just the process you do without all areas of your aspects of life, including the people that run on your page. If you ever to follow me, if anybody ever follows me on my social media, you'll know that I don't have coons and bedwenches on my page. And that's not because I go in there and I vet them out. They know, coons and bedwenches know, when they watch and observe me, they know like, yo, I can't fuck off on this guy's page because he's gonna make me look like an ass. So they either don't comment or they sit in the cut and watch, or they'll just leave the page and go find somebody else's page that they can run and do their cooning and bedwenching on. But those are the type of things that you have to take control of, because if you don't control the people on your page, the narratives are going to override you. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not stable enough to know what you're talking about, these people are going to make you look real bad on your own page. That's why I always tell people, be knowledgeable and be very well educated and strategic about how you go about things in life. Because even on social media, your tactics, your strategy, and your intellect can make you avoid being in situations that normally will make you look bad. But not only that, is that it also can expose the people that aren't meant to be around you, or expose the people that are controlling and brainwashing the people that you care about as well. And it's up to them to realize who those people are and get them people off of their page as well. Because we have spies, agents, provocateurs dwelling amongst us. And it's our job and duty to make sure we eradicate them off our pages as much as possible. So I know I was long-winded, but I just wanted to put in that piece because that also contributed to the topic of tonight when it comes to beware of delusional woman. Now, not only did I see this on this white woman, right? I went on her page And here's the irony of this shit. This woman is sitting here spitting this feminist bullshit on this girl's page. When I went on her page and I started digging on her shit, I realized in 2022, she had an incident where I guess she has some dysfunctional shit going on with her man and her child, I guess her child's father or something like that. Maybe they might have split. I don't know what the case may be on that situation, but I know she was in a situation where she didn't really have nowhere to go, or she just had to get to another place real quick with her children. She had a friend that told her, hey, come up here to Virginia. I got you. She took her and her kids to Virginia to go stay with this friend. This friend was such a snake, a woman now. This woman friend was such a snake that she was about to put this woman out, this white woman out with her children. And I saw she wrote in one of the comment sections, she said, if it wasn't for this man, the man, there was a man that sent her money that she was able to use to get herself out of her friend's house and into a situation where that provided shelter and security for her and her children. So I'm sitting here like, damn, you bashing men, talking about how hard, how easy it is for a man, but yet a man had to take money out of his household to make sure you were straight in another household that was supposed to be secured by your female friend who was ready to put you out on the streets with your children. The irony of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy to me. So I was so shocked about the whole stuff. I just started laughing when I read through all of that, and I said, you know what it is? A lot of these women are projecting their traumas, their hurts, and you can see the vile disdain from their actions and responses whenever you interact with them. And trust me, it's something that I don't want to be around, and I avoid these women at all costs. I land my plane on that.
Yeah, man. I mean, you expecting way too much, man. Like I've learned, I've learned, you know, when you're dealing with people who just speak nonsensical bullshit, you need to just, sometimes you just gotta let them. My great grandmother had a saying: "Don't wake them, let them sleep." You dig? And you know, some of these people, I admire your patience. You know what I'm saying? Because when I see some of these dumbasses, I just block them, or I just insult them and make them block me. Like, you know, I'm really like that. You know what I'm saying? I even had an incident with a female that I know who started attacking me today because, you know, some truth that I spoke about Kamala Harris, and she's acting like Kamala Harris is her auntie or something. Like, you don't know this bitch. Why are you attacking me? Because I'm speaking the truth about Kamala Harris. You in your feelings and attacking me because I'm speaking the truth about Kamala Harris. I let her live because I know her. But if I didn't, nigga, you already know. You know, but it's like we gotta, to speak to your point, you know, a lot of these women are just delusional out here, and it does speak to unresolved trauma, like you say, you know, because they'll assume, you know, that because you don't share certain feelings or because you call women out, you know, for their bullshit, that, oh, you know, you just got a problem with women or you just got a problem with black women. They'll just pull that out of their ass, like punk ass President Obama did. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you just pull something out of your ass because black men are not supporting Kun Mala. Oh, we're, you know, misogynistic and we hate women and this, that, and the third. Oh, you got a problem with voting for a woman. You know, woman is president. You got a problem with that. And that's not acceptable. Shut the fuck up, dude. Like, nobody asked your unsolicited opinion. Your ass don't be in nobody's barbershop. You got your money from selling your people out. Let's call it what it is. And you moved your ass to Martha's Vineyard. Ain't no niggas in Martha's Vineyard. You dig? So you don't have the credibility in black society to come around talking shit to us. sounding like a damn disgruntled female.
Mm.
You know, I don't appreciate that shit at all. You know, so yeah, I hear a lot of that delusion bullshit all the time, constantly. And it's annoying as hell, you know, and that's part of the reason for the Kamala Harris backlash. That's part of the reason because, you know, you have these delusional women running around bullying you or trying to, and, you know, just nagging you. Some of these women, I don't even know them. I see them on social media and they nag the shit out of me. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you nag a motherfucker that don't even know you, you got a problem. Because they're always coming online with their bitchy, whiny, complaining Mae Jenkins ass mentality, just talking about nothing, loud and wrong. Oh, they got a problem with me because I'm a strong black woman. That's what it is. They can't handle me because I'm this and I'm that, and you know, I'm too much woman for them. Shut up. You're not too much anything for anybody. It's not that people can't handle you or that they're intimidated by you or that you're too much for them. You're insufferable and they hate you. Yes, yeah. I said it. I'll say it again. For a lot of these women out here, they're insufferable. That woman you talking to, she just come on there just attacking me out of the clear blue sky. Number one, I take exception to any white person hopping in a black space talking shit about black men or talking shit about men. Because inadvertently, whether you intended to or not, you're talking about black men because we wasn't talking to your ass. You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to get checked off rip just on the fact that, you know, you coming in this bitch vanilla ice, you know, trying to step the black thought. You dig? That just don't work. You know, so yeah, she would have got checked off rip, but you know, yeah, it's unfortunate. And the thing is that there is no system of checks and balances. Nobody's checking them. And the sister I was, you know, having a debate with before, good sister, she just don't know nothing about politics. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to give her some game and educate her to certain things, but you can't tell people who think they know everything. You just can't. You know what I'm saying? So I fall back, hey, you got it, sis, knock yourself out. But, you know, to someone like that, I'd have lit her ass up. You know what I'm saying? She would have got off the internet crying by the time I got done with her monkey ass. You know what I'm saying? Like certain times, man, you got to just empty the clip. You dig? Because people, the problem with a lot of these people out here is that they don't get checked. And once we start checking, you see how these women complain, oh, you know, I go in the group and the guys are so mean, oh my God, I don't want to say anything. It's 9 times out of 10 because they said some slick shit and they got checked. And we need to normalize that. I say Kevin Samuels didn't go far enough. He was nice to some of these damn bird brains that used to call into his show. You calling in there talking to a man twice your age like you ain't got no goddamn sense, and he checked you, and everybody else is mad at him. Fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them don't have no respect. They don't know their place. I said it. Because a woman will be quick to tell you what your place is. You're supposed to provide and protect. You're supposed to do this. You're supposed to do that. You're supposed to wash the cars. You supposed to change the oil. You the man. What you here for? If I'm gonna do, why I got to do it? Or what you here for? They're quick to tell you what you supposed to do and what your place is, but don't know their head from their ass.
Yeah, and that's
shout out to the real sisters that ain't like that. Shout out to the real sisters that ain't like that. But to
pass that plate around. I got it.
But to these miscreants out here that's on that bullshit, we coming for you. It ain't safe no more. I said what I said. Go ahead, Ant.
No, I was saying that you know, when Kevin Samuels was doing this thing and he wasn't being rude to women, it was the women that was matching energy. He was matching energy with the women. They don't like when you match energies. You're supposed to take their energy and be graceful and bow out of it and be polite And that's just
Right.
not how it goes. You know, respect is earned. You know, it's
Yes.
not given like that. It's earned. So if I respect you, please respect me back. Once you
Right.
disrespect me, then I have every right to disrespect you.
Yes.
So a lot of times they look at that and they got mad with Kevin Samuels. But I noticed when Dr. Bryant was around here checking Nick Cannon and checking what's the other guy? Cam Newton.
Cameron Newton.
Yeah.
Cam Newton, right?
None
When
of them
she
had that to
checked
say.
when she checked Cam Newton and she checked
Mhm.
Nick Cannon, and she rightfully checked them. She
Yeah.
rightfully checked both of them because both of them have some real low energy shit that they doing despite being millionaires.
Mm.
And men who understood where she was coming from gave her the okay, like, okay, I see where you're coming from. Because there was a lot of things she did admit that, you know, women, she held herself and other women accountable for some of the stuff they did. She was very fair enough in her assessment. And it wasn't coming off, it was coming off more of a place of, yes, let me just tell you how it is and how wrong it could be, versus, you know, bashing them or doing all of that. And the thing about it was, women was like, yeah, boy, she went up there and she checked them and put them in their place and all that. And they were joyous about that.
Yes,
But
they were.
Kevin Samuels was putting women in their place the same way. But y'all don't like to be put in y'all place, no matter how nice he was about it or not. You feel like no man should put any woman in her place.
Ooh.
If she's
Not just
not
that.
running, huh?
Mhm. No,
No, if she's
go
not
ahead.
running, is she not running in the way she needs to be, in a way, if you're looking for love and he's telling you how to go about it the right way, he's trying to help you. He's not trying to degrade you. He's trying to get you on that right track to get the man that you desire. That's all he was trying to do. You called into his show. He didn't
Right.
call you up randomly like a telemarketer. You called in for him. So if I call in for advice for somebody, why the hell am I going to go ham at somebody that's giving me advice? I called in for you to help me because I don't have it myself. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I don't have any more resources and nothing like that. So maybe what you tell me could change my life. And instead of that approach that women have for Kevin Samuels, they took the approach as, oh, you can't check, you shouldn't check no woman. And that's how Kevin Samuels really got big, because he got big because a lot of women was calling up to try to be the one to check him. And every time they
Right.
would call up to check him, they were getting checked. And so it's like everybody was getting in there and getting their hair bashing, boom. And then they was leaving out like, oh gosh. And then the next woman saw that. The next woman saw that and she felt like, okay, they all getting their hair bashed in. Let me go
Challenge
up there because
accepted.
I think, yeah, it's a whole challenge thing, right? And people don't talk about the female ego. They have this big fucking ego that they can't let go. I want to
Bro.
be the one to put him in his place. I know I could be better than these women. And every woman is coming up because they also feel like all these degrees, they got more than Kevin Samuels. Oh, I'm gonna use my degrees and get at him. And every woman that come up there, no matter how many 2, 3, 4 degrees, were all getting chopped down at the leagues. And that's the funniest thing. But I thought it was very hypocritical for women to cheer Bryant on for correcting these two individuals, but yet you didn't give that same energy of cheering on Kevin Samuels that corrected a lot of these women. And even when he died and passed on, a lot of these women said that he changed their lives forever. And also, not only that, they were able to find the man that they wanted and even got married to them. And I land my plane on that.
Thanks.
One
The
slight
issue that
correction before Bobby starts speaking. Hold up. One slight
Mhm.
correction. You said that they don't like to be corrected by men or checked by men. They don't like to be corrected or checked by anybody. They think they're fucking perfect. And that is the problem. They don't know how to grow. Just shut the fuck up sometimes and take the game, soak it up, and learn from it and grow. Go ahead, Bob. My bad.
all good and absolutely necessary inclusion there. Look, y'all both said a lot of real things. Absolutely. The problem is we have, and I don't know if this was okay and women simply let it get out of control, let it get to their heads, or if it's because the process just in the first place that it was inevitable that it got here. But the problem is we have lived for far too long in a society that has coddled women, that has allowed and enabled women to live in delusion. I saw something interesting in this video from this brother from I think it's from We Need to Talk. And first, I don't know that brother's name, but shout out to him. Every time I've heard anything come out of his mouth, I have yet to hear him miss on anything. That brother's absolutely solid. But he said something to the effect that made me pause and think for a second. And he said, typically when people go through trauma, it's not just the female thing, but male or female, when people go through trauma, one of the things that can happen is when you're in that fragile mindset, your mind is very fragile. You're in a very vulnerable position. It's not going to take too much to push you over the end for you to edge for crack. Our bodies are made so wonderfully, so amazingly, that it has all kind of fail safes and stopgap measures in place to prevent worst case scenario events from happening or worsening with us. One of the things that we do when we're near a mental or psychotic break, one of the things that will happen is sometimes you'll see a person retreat inside their head, right? They'll go to a place that maybe is their in a childlike state or whatever, but they retreat to a place where the mind knows that you feel safe and lets you sit there in a little bit to kind of like let you like recuperate, kind of gather yourself, what have you. A lot of women who have been through emotional trauma, whether it's abuse or issues from childhood, whatever it is, as a mental failsafe, unconsciously, they don't do this on purpose, but unconsciously, their brain trying to attempt to safeguard and shield them, they will go and they will retreat to a delusional state. But they'll come up with whatever myth the brain wants to put together to basically save them from themselves. Like anything else, that's wonderful when it's used in that moment. But if a person does not develop themselves mentally, they don't build up mental resilience, they don't challenge themselves, they don't work on themselves and build up their characteristics, the morality, they don't boost their mental resilience, their ability to push themselves and to respond and deal with stress accordingly, what happens is that emergency breaking case of a situation mechanism becomes standard operating procedure, and that's a problem. Survival mechanisms are great in a survival situation. You're about to have a mental breakdown, so you retreat into a delusional state. If you're straying out in the wilderness and there's no water, you're in danger of dehydration, you can drink fresh urine because most of the urine is still going to have water. It's not the best, but you're going to be able to stay hydrated and buy yourself some time.
No, it's not the best.
You can do it. It's not lemonade, but you tell yourself whatever you got to.
No, it's not the best, Bobby. No.
You're trying to see the next day. That's all. But those are things that are great in the prescribed circumstances. But that's not good for day-to-day living. Can you drink urine in an emergency situation? Yes, you can. You should not have yourself a nice tall cup of piss every morning to get yourself rejuvenated. That's not good. It's not only disgusting, but there's health ramifications from that as well.
It's not the best.
Women have not been allowed to grow and blossom mentally, which is a shame because when you see a strong, resilient woman, she is incredible. She is a breath of fresh air. She is an inspiration. And there's some sisters that we every time towards the end of the show, we shout out sisters who have made a lot of huge strides and accomplishments, but we've also shout out some sisters who, whether it's professionally or in their own lives and experiences, they've demonstrated extreme resilience and strength and fortitude. But that's when a woman is allowed to grow mentally in a healthy way. But when you have women who are coddled, they're constantly handicapped, they're crippled, they're allowed to believe wrong information, no one checks their BS or nonsense, then they become the kind of woman that we've been talking about so far tonight, right? They become these chicks that have these huge, out of control egos. They're too good to be told anything. You could be a man, you can't. If you're a man, you try to correct them, then you must be a gay or a sissy. You're sassy, whatever. If you're a woman that tries to check her, correct her, or you're a pick me, you're looking for male approval, no one can say anything to them. Or they always have some kind of excuse or deflection, but the men, the men, the men. Yes, but we're talking about women right now. But the men, the men, the men. It's always something. These are mentally unhealthy women. These are mentally weak women. And these are women who you can tell have been living in a safety bubble. And when reality comes and busts them across the head, they can't take it. Because everything that they know they've been moving based off of is coming into contact with reality. And you know reality don't give a damn about you. Reality is not a respecter of person, race, creed, color, socioeconomic status, none of that. Reality is just reality. And you can either roll with it or get rolled over. And a lot of women find themselves getting rolled over. And the truth is, it needs to happen more often. It doesn't need to come from a place, and it shouldn't come from a place of negativity. It shouldn't be someone that's just itching and waiting, ooh, I can't wait to humble women.
True.
If that's the mindset and the attitude, that's a problem. That's not going to help. That's only going to hurt. And truth be told, you're making the problem worse. When it comes from a place of love, I'm checking you. I'm slapping you across your head with cold hard facts because I want to see you in a better state. I want to see you not get hurt. Then it's different. Even if they don't accept it in the moment, what will always happen is down the line, people will recall and flash back. You know, I remember all the people that let me move ahead in error. I remember all the friends that hyped me up in the bad situations, and we fell out. But I always remember the person that gave me the proper game and told me the truth. And I remember, even if I didn't make the right choices based off of that, I remember it was right there. And every time I messed up, whether I wanted to or not, I had in the back of my mind, yeah, Ant did say that. I hate that major. He's a dickhead, but he was an accurate dickhead. That'll always be the case.
That's what it is.
So it's important, if you actually care about women, whether you're a woman or not, or a man, if you care about women, if you care about people, period, you need to give them the truth. James Baldwin said, if I love you, if I care about you, I have to tell you the truth. Love does not exist in lies. Love can only flourish and blossom in the truth. And if I got to lie to you, if I got to be phony or fake with you just to stay in your good graces, then that's not a situation I need to be in, period. I'm not going to water down me, my integrity, and how I love just to be around you. It's not worth it. So I will separate myself if that's what it takes. And when you're ready to go to the program, I'll be right here waiting for you.
Is that James? Was it James Baldwin? It was James Baldwin and a black lady sitting on the couch discussing that, right?
Nikki Giovanni.
Eartha Kitt. Was it Nikki or was it Eartha?
Nikki Giovanni.
Okay, Nikki.
Okay, she said you go out there in the world and you tell them the truth, and then you come through the door and lie to me. Was that her?
Yeah, that was Nikki.
Okay.
That sounds like
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember that was a very powerful interaction between the two. Yeah. So tonight's show, like I said, is beware of the delusion of beware of delusional women. So I want to play a couple of videos real quick. Oh, I'll just play this video real quick and let you guys see some of the things that will give our viewers more explanation to what we're talking about tonight. All right.
The Standard Female Delusion Chart. It is a tool for bringing balance back to the dating market. The Standard Female Delusion Chart is replacing the old chart because there was some confusion. Here's how the chart works. We all know that only a few people are very dumb, most people are average, and a few people are very smart. This creates a shape called a bell curve. It works the same way with other traits like height and attractiveness. Most people are average. I received a lot of constructive feedback about the old chart. I was told that men and women match up evenly, but that's only true in long-term relationships. So this is how a woman would see men that she knows, maybe 25 men at most. The other 4 billion men, however, she would see like this. As you can see, most of us are disgusting. And if you are a male 3 or below, you're this cute little ghost. So, generally speaking, men rate women on a bell curve, and women rate men on a Jezebel curve. And of course, it's true that some men underrate women, but other men overrate women, and they are people, so it balances out. On the other hand, women rate men they do not know as 80% garbage. This model is supported by data from every dating app, by going outside and listening to women when they talk.
It depends on what he looks like, probably. Based on someone's personality, you could really hit it off with someone, but attractiveness is a big player of it. That sounded very shallow.
And by being attractive. If you are a man who has moved past this line, you'll know what I mean. The standard female delusion chart can help keep women out of the sleeper zone, where they languish in emotional neglect, waiting for commitment that was never coming. It works by correcting ludicrous female perceptions, like this. Let's go through the chart piece by piece. You can pause on each one to let them sink in. This is how men see women, normal. This is how women see men, brutal. This is how women see themselves, delusional. And this is how women rate other women publicly, everyone's a 10, and privately. I'll go into more detail in an upcoming video on YouTube. For now, feel free to take a screenshot and use the chart yourself. Just make sure to credit me or I will sue. I'm also creating a comprehensive rating system to help everyone know their level. Once you know your score, just use this equalized chart to find your match. So, assuming standard female delusion, a female 6 matches with a male she sees as 3.8, a female 8 matches with a male she sees as 6.5, and a female 2 probably has hobbies, or an adorable fur baby. The standard female delusion chart can go a long way towards correcting female ridiculousness, but only if you're honest. If the standard female delusion chart makes you mad, stay mad.
Whoever made that, I salute you.
He needs a medal.
Doing
Okay.
God's
Yes.
workout. Look,
He needs a medal.
most of my heroes do not appear on stamps.
Right.
He's probably one of them.
Anything you guys wanted to acknowledge on that, on what he said, elaborate more on?
Just real quick, I mean, the man's doing the Lord's work. Let the man cook. It is unfortunate because what I noticed back when I used to date, of course, I'm happily married now, but when I was dating, that was probably a 1, 2, and 3. It would be attitude, unrealistic expectations, and children. Like those are the top 3 things that would turn me off about women. You know what I mean? Like definitely one of the top 3 things. Just ridiculous, things that people done blew their head up with. Women are used to men blowing smoke up their ass. And it could be a perfectly, attractive woman, a perfectly decent woman with everything going for her. But when she starts talking that dumb shit, you just tune her out. It's unfortunate, but that's the game, unfortunately, because from when women are 3 and 4 years old, people start pumping this princess shit into their head. You a princess. A man supposed to treat you like a queen because you deserve it. And that may be true. However, it may not. And that's the problem. You don't get to be treated like a queen and get all this wonderful treatment and you deserve the top of the top as a counterpart if you haven't earned it. And that's what they leave out. That treatment has to be earned, and there's a certain type of behavior that earns you that treatment and that gives you that value. And the problem with a lot of women is that they feel like they're just supposed to be treated like this exalted person because they walk in the door and they got a pair of titties, and it just don't work like that. Stop thinking the sun rises and sets at your ass cheeks, ladies. That's just not how it works. This is a reciprocal thing, and men have figured out the con. They say women are sugar and spice and everything nice. It often doesn't work out that way. And men have figured out the con, and more men are standing up and demanding things and checking your paperwork at the door. So just come prepared. That's all I say.
All right. That's what's up.
Bobby.
You
ain't got nothing, Bobby?
Look, when I'm in the presence of a master, I let them do their work. It's not if I'm in the art gallery, if I'm in the Louvre, and I'm staring at Pablo Picasso's work, I'm looking at this masterpiece. It's not time for me to go out and get my little Walgreens paint by numbers set and draw my little stick figures. It's not my time. My time was to clap it up, show appreciation, and help shine light on this artwork here. Brother did his thing. Far be it for me to go ahead and try to put my stamp on it. I salute. When it's time for me to cook, I get in the kitchen. But when it's time to eat, I'm gonna sit at the table and happily wait.
Facts.
All right. So I'm gonna show these two videos. So the first video I'm gonna show you the delusional woman, and then I'm gonna show you a video of a guy that's going to bring that delusion back to peace and reality. All right. So first, delusional piece.
Married, it's gonna not be something the man wants. It's gonna be what I want. Please explain what that means, because I already know in the comment section they're gonna be like, "This chick don't get it, bro.
I get
What is she talking about right now?" So what do you want, and why won't you do what your man wants?
It's kind of deep to say that, but for me, I'm not gonna sacrifice life now because there's so much going on in life. It's not like back in the day where we didn't really have much, where you have to have kids and be married. It's so much that I can do within my life to where what I do, it should make sense equally together. So my mom was in a generation where all she knew was him at that point. And for me, I just feel like I can bring more to the table than being her. A person that cooks and clean, run bath water. We understand we can be that. I could do that all day. All day I could do that for you. But if you want to see something different,
you want to bring more to the table.
In that, I could do it.
Okay, so
it's not that I'm like degrading a woman for doing that.
Yeah.
So the simple fact is greater than that plus that. That's like double.
So explain what you would like to bring to the relationship. If you're saying, hey, listen, basic,
what I want
basic
and not what
level
I'm bringing.
stuff is cooking, cleaning, doing the bath, taking care of the kids. I got that.
I just
Mommy's
want
been doing that
peace.
for 35 years.
I want a peace.
What do you
I
want to
want-
bring
I
to the
want peace.
relationship?
I want peace.
What does that mean?
Peace is just being confident about what you want in life, because a lot of people don't know what they want in life. They could be married and still struggling with themselves.
Okay.
I want, if you want to, this is what we do, this is what we're working on, this is what we're doing. Is people don't know their self.
Okay.
I don't know how I can break that down, but peace is something that I really dig for.
So what is your lifestyle of peace? Like if you were to explain like, okay, I found this guy, I really like him, and he provides me peace. What is that lifestyle? What's your role and what's his role?
Somebody, okay, so we bring it back to confident.
Yeah.
And confident can be somebody waking in the morning, just ego. Confidence to me is just knowing what you want, and what I do don't affect you. You still gonna be the man when you wake up tomorrow. I don't know. It's just
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions, then I want to open it up for everybody. You're picturing a dude out there that you'll settle down with. Go ahead. Go there right now. Go with me. By the way, everyone in the audience, picture who you're going to be with the rest of your life. Go, think
Right,
about,
visualize,
think about where you're at. By the way, baby girl, you know, I'm right here with you right now. So think about where you're at. Now that he's in your head, obviously, I hope you're thinking about your husband. I know that your situation's complicated, Sterling. Nat, there's a lot of dudes sliding in the DM. I get it. Jojo, obviously, you're happily married. Kiana, this dude, how tall is he?
I don't know. I don't even look at the person. I don't look at the
Give me a
outside
basic.
anymore.
Give me a basic
It
number.
gotta be
Let's
probably
just answer these things
6
rapid
feet,
fire.
6'1", 6'1".
He's 6'1". Gotcha. Shape, ripped, big, dad bod,
Big daddy.
skinny, huh?
Big. And not big, but big enough.
Like a football player big, like Sterling big, Sterling 6'1"? Big or
Yeah.
smaller? Okay,
Big.
muscular.
Just can go to the gym like me, not lazy in the
Hell
house.
yeah. Okay, so this gentleman, black, white, Latino, doesn't matter,
It don't matter.
Asian, persuasion.
It don't matter.
The whole thing. Got it. And how much money would you like him to make a year?
Over 60 million. Over.
Over-
We gonna go to 5 million.
Wait,
to
you say
60.
60 million?
Yeah, we gonna go to 5 million.
I'm about to have a heart attack right now.
5
Kiana.
to 60. 5 to 60. I'm
5 million
5.
minimum.
Cut. 5.
Wait,
60.
million with an M.
Million.
Okay, got it. Sterling,
Because you
you
can make 1 million.
can't make 1 million. Lose my number, obviously. But you said 5
What,
million.
500K? What, 5 what?
Baby, you answer the question.
I'm just saying we could do it this way to make
Okay.
it common. 500K to 5 million.
Gotcha. So minimum
Let's make
half a
it
million.
easy, yeah.
Now, what percentage of men do you think make 500,000 a
Not
year?
enough.
Give me a
That's-
number. What percentage of men make a
2%?
$500,000 a year? Close. It's 1%.
Right, but
What
I just want
percentage
to
of
put
men?
an extra 2.
Okay. So got it. And when you meet this man of your dreams who's 6'1", black, white, yellow, Puerto Rican or Haitian, doesn't matter, from the Zulu Nation, shout out to Tribe Called Quest. How much are you going to contribute to the overall family income? So for instance, you contribute maybe 10%, right?
think
Allie,
I-
20, I don't know, whatever you're making.
Oh, yeah, that's probably close.
Sure, but you're a housewife proud.
Yeah.
How much would you like to contribute?
I think I wouldn't even contribute until I got it there yet.
You wouldn't say?
I wouldn't contribute until
Okay.
I'm there yet.
So
I wouldn't
it's-
want a man until I'm there
It's
yet.
all on the man.
No,
Okay.
it's not on the man. It's on me. I will not contribute until I'm there.
So you are going to, you're saying you're paying your own bills?
Yeah, I'm going to be at that level to where if I do be there, you can't
Okay.
talk about it. You have to be there when I'm there, because
Got
if
it.
not, I'm dragging you like a dog.
Last couple questions for you. Have you ever been married and do you have any kids?
No.
Okay, got it. So here's the complicated question. You ready?
Right.
Buckle up, everybody. This man who on a bad day is making a $500,000 a year, on a good
fine.
day he's making somewhere between 5 and 60 million. Respect. He's 6'1". He's a multitude of different colors. Let's just say he looks like
Right.
Sterling. Good looking guy. Why? Don't be offended. Why would he pick you?
He don't have to.
No, but he's going to. Tell us why he would.
I wouldn't know why he would. I guess it's the attraction,
Mm-hmm.
my drive, my determination. I guess that, because I feel like I can become that image, but maybe I'm not that yet.
All right. So here's the follow-up. You're saying your drive, your ambition, your
Mhm.
attraction. If he's making that much
determination.
money, why does he want your drive? Wouldn't he just want you to be a pretty housewife? Now you're back to playing the same role your mother's playing. If he's making that much money, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, baby, I'm gonna be it now if you give me a cap.
All of a sudden.
With a wedding dress now, baby. Listen.
All of a sudden, baby knows
Now
how to
listen.
change some diapers and do some bath
No,
water
I
now.
don't need the diaper change,
Okay.
but if you can get, I just listen.
All right, so I'm gonna play this video real quick, and then y'all can comment on it. All right. All right. Here's the video.
But I find it funny that when you talk about facts and relationships and the differences between men and women, one party seems to get really pissed off. See, men, we have accepted how we are. We have accepted from women that we have to meet certain requirements for you to be attracted to us. But when we talk about certain requirements that you need to bring to the table for us to be attracted to you, all of a sudden, it's a shitstorm. You're upset. You're mad. You're chauvinistic. You're misogynist. Right? Why is that? Because men have accepted the fact, look, if I'm super short, fat, overweight, and broke, I'm not getting a girl. I'm not getting anybody to date. I probably won't get married. We've accepted that. So we know we have to be taller, more successful, financial stability, decent looking, and definitely not broke, right? I said that. But when I tell a woman, I don't want an overweight woman. Oh, all the Lizzos come out. Everybody's mad. Everybody's upset because I said I don't want to be with a woman that's overweight. All of a sudden, he's horrible. It's hate speech. Why is that hate speech when you tell me you don't want to be with a man that's under 6 feet tall? And then I say I want a fit, feminine, attractive, young woman that's submissive and cooperative. Why is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing when I have a choice of who I want to be with, you're upset? But when you say all the requirements that 90% of the women look for, men have accepted that. You just can't accept the reality and the truth. I'm going to do some here on this. It's called a delusional calculator. It's backed by the Census Bureau and the National Center of Health Organizations. Okay? So on this delusional calculator that I got, I would like to run some numbers. Okay? So what I've done is I put together what most women consider the type of guy that they want. All right, so I'm going to record this. It's called the Female Delusional Calculator. Okay, now watch this. This is what I'm going to love. This is backed by the Census Bureau, the United States Census Bureau. It's factual data for all of you women out there that don't want to hear the data. Say I don't hear the data. And the National Center of Health Systems. What are the chances to find a man of my dreams? Because women, y'all have men in your dreams, right? So I'm going to plug this in here, okay? So we're going to go from the average age of, let's just say, I'm going to go from the average age of 28 to 45. Let's do that, okay? 28 to 47. So I'm going to do 28 to 47. Any race, color, white, black, or Asian. I'm just going to do this for you. The average height in the United States is 5'9". I'm going to exclude obese men. I'm sure you don't want an obese guy. We can handle that. And let's just say they need to make at least 100K a year. And you all heard me say the new 100K is 250 grand a year. Let's see what the probability of you finding that person in America that's non-married. You have a 5.6% chance of meeting a man that is unmarried, of any race, that's at least 5'9" or taller. He's not obese, and he's making 6 figures a year. I'm going to show this to you because this is going to be recorded. 5'9". Look at that. 5.6%. 5.6%. Now, for all of those women that want more than that, let's go and do he has to be 6 feet tall. Okay, here we go. Here we go. 1.7% chance for you finding a man that's 6 feet tall, that's not obese, that's earning at least 6 figures a year in the United States of America between the ages of 28 to 47. This is the probability of a guy of you finding is 1.7%. It's 1.7%. So here's my question, ladies. Ready? How are you going to compete to find that man? Because every woman I talk to on the planet Earth, the guy's got to make 6 figures. And half of those women want the guy to be 6 feet. So if you take the population of 340 million people in the world, 340 million. If you take the population of 340 million people in the United States of America, I'm just talking about the United States right now, and 51% of those are women. You all have to compete for 1.7% of the population of men that fit that requirement. What are you bringing to the table? What value do you bring? And here's what happens. You ready for this? I don't need a man. Well, you ain't getting a man. Newsflash, not with that attitude. I'm a boss bitch. You ain't getting a man. And then you end up on TikTok and Instagram, 30, 40 years old, complaining about hitting the wall because you were in your prime in your mid-20s out clubbing, tearing up the dance floor and partying, talking about you don't need a boyfriend, hanging out with all your single girlfriends. Meanwhile, women over in third world countries, Mexico, Central South America, they're getting married in their mid-20s, finding a husband and living a pretty decent life. And then you hit 30-something and say, okay, I'm ready to settle down and find a man. Meanwhile, those high-valued men, that isn't even high-valued, 100K. You got to make $250K a year to survive in A-status cities. A-status cities, LA, Seattle, New York. Okay? Those cities, Orange County, 100K, you're broke. 100K is poverty level in Seattle. I'm from there. I live in Vegas now. So good luck finding those guys. Now we can talk about what it takes to find those men, because you're competing. See, listen, ladies, if you're competing for that small percentage of population, guess what those guys do? They have options. And every one of those guys wants the same thing. And what you're bringing to the table is not the value they want. We don't want your attitude. We don't want your money. We don't care about your PhD. We're going to find somebody that every one of them's competing for us that fits the profile we want. And it ain't you. So you can stop with all your BS, lying to yourself, and all your comments about you don't need a man. The only reason you say that is because you can't find a man. You can't get a man. And you don't want to do what it takes to get that person that you want, because you know it's going to require you to be a feminine woman. And for the God knows why, you want to be like a man. I counsel these women, and the first thing they do is they sound like a man. I make my own money. I got my own business. I bring a lot of value. You sound like a dude. Men don't want to hear that crap.
Sure don't.
We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear that. That's like going up to Elon Musk and saying, or okay, you're going up to Drake, somebody that has a lot of status. A lot of women would probably want to date Drake, even though he's got a girlfriend. I won't date a guy with a girlfriend. You go out with Drake, you're going to be a hypocrite because he's got status. It's not about the money. It's not about the status. Yes, it is. But if Drake asks you to come out, and let's say you wanted to marry Drake, you want to marry you, and you say, I got my own business. He don't care about that. You think Drake cares about your money? That's a high-value man. Do you think he cares about your PhD? Do you spend, I'm going to wait till I get my doctor, I'm going to be a doctor, then I'm going to settle down? Not going to happen. Who's Drake dating? 25, 26, 27-year-old women. Now, if you're past your 20s, you're in your 30s, that means in your 40s, that means you've got to make more adjustments to get a higher quality man because you're competing with the mid-20-year-olds. This is factual data, and you fight me on this.
All right, that's it. So just gave you guys 2 videos to show you the reality on both sides, right? So the reality of this woman's delusion and the reality that's really the reality of this man putting it in the delusional calculator and showing you your percentages and how you are fumbling men with that mindset you have in your head. And land my plane on that.
Wow. Yeah. The last dude, he was a little lengthy with his shit. I wish he would wrap it up or make it a little more concise, but overall, yeah, I like what he's saying. You know, he's speaking nothing but the truth, you know, and this has been said time and again. And what I noticed with a lot of women, instead of listening to what the men want and what the men are telling you they want, what they like to do is tell the men what they should want. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's you know, I think that's the one thing that he kind of left out that women love to do. They love to tell you what you should want and why you're shallow if you don't want this thing that they're telling you you should want. People have to learn the art of shutting the fuck up and getting the intel. You need to be quiet when you're in the presence of men and you're trying to understand what it is that they are seeking, and vice versa. But men, like he said, men pretty much understand that. Men accept the truth for what it is. Men know when they're fat. Men know when they're ugly. Men know when their teeth fucked up. Men know. And we know that we have to do something to overcompensate in other areas or come out and pay for it because we can't get it the right way. Men know these things. Men accept the damn truth for what it is. Women are the ones that like to lie to themselves and blow smoke up their own asses. And that's the problem. That first girl, poor child. It's fascinating the degree to which these women are comfortable to just get out here in public and just talk stupid, to just talk utter goddamn nonsense. I mean, with her average looking ass. Oh, my requirements, if I'm a dating man, he had to make at least $5 million. Shut your goofy ass up. You'd be lucky to get a dude that has a full-time job and a car. I'm just saying, like, she wasn't all that to be talking all that shit. She was all right, but, these women, they really believe this dumb shit. They look on reality TV shows and they see these average looking women on there. Well, she got her NBA player, so I should be able to get me one because I'm cuter than her. This is their logic. You don't understand what these women have done to get on some of these shows, bruh.
Yeah.
You don't understand how bankrupt a lot of these women's souls are that you see on television. You really don't understand. They had these women going over to what do they call that country, that Arabic country? Dubai. They had these women going over to Dubai a couple years ago. They call them the porta potty women. Remember that? They had these women going over to Dubai. They call them the porta potty women. They go over there and dudes will pay them $5,000 to let them take a shit in their mouth. Remember that?
Yeah, there was to add on to that, there's a clip going around now. I don't know if that lady is African. I think she might be African because they said that the money that they paid her with was equivalent to $18,000.
Okay.
She went over to Dubai and ate some shit, some feces, and now she has a fatal disease behind it. So she's about to die for $18,000. I got the clip. I got the clip of it. I'll probably show it on the
Please
next.
send me that because I gotta cook on that because somebody
Yeah.
needs to call this shit out. Pun intended. You know what I'm saying? Like, bruh, seriously, what are we doing? This is the problem, and this is what happens when these girls grow up. This is what happens when these women grow up with no guidance. The hatchet man in me says just tear her ass up. But the intellectual in me says, you know what, let me dial it back a bit because we have to learn to pity people who speak that way. And we need to start the process of correction from a young age, in dealing with that type of mentality because it has destroyed an entire generation of women. It was so hard for me to find my wife, bruh. It was a mission because so many, not all, but a generous portion of the women out here are damaged beyond understanding, bruh. That's just what it is. And, it's like Trina. Trina knows she's damaged. She said on her album, she knows she's fucked up and she couldn't fix herself if she wanted to. She actually said that. And I think that it's sad and it's really, really damaging to the community. But this is where we are and we need to understand it for what it is and try to correct it. It's very unfortunate that sister speaks that way, but I'm looking at the larger problem that there is a generation of really, really damaged, hurt women who haven't healed, who are running around with this innate hatred for anything male. You understand what I'm saying? And it's really, really causing a lot of problems and contaminating our relationships. And, I think I have to refer to our brother Jason Black again. Jason Black, of all people, we know how harsh Jason Black can be. Jason Black said, as Black people, we need to be a little more patient with each other. And try to understand that we are not okay. You know, when you see somebody that's damaged, try to leave them with their legs, try to help them, try to speak life into them. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's where we are. Our partnership.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well said. Yo, Drake. Can't hear you, buddy. Muted. You're muted. There you
Bobby.
go.
Yeah, so I'm just yeah, that sister would be a classic example of what I was speaking about earlier about what happens when you allow people to live in delusion unchecked and unbothered, right? And I think it's because there's a lot of confusion about how to treat women in terms of managing expectations, where we're supposed to just treat them in a dainty sort of fashion, and you don't be harsh with women because they're soft and they're gentle and la 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 la. That's not necessarily a problem, but we have to understand what that means and what that doesn't mean. You can be soft and gentle with women, but still tell them the truth. Even if the truth is difficult to manage, if the truth isn't pleasant, it's not optimum, it's not the ideal, it's a little hurtful. You can still be honest, be real, and tell the truth in a soft, gentle way. And we know how to do that all the time. If for example, if someone loses their job and you want to be compassionate about it and you have to deliver the news, you can say, "Look, Matt, I don't know how to tell you this, but we were reviewing the numbers, the budgets. We're gonna let some people go, and unfortunately, man, you know how they say it: last hired, first fired. And I'm sorry, we gotta let you go. Whatever assistance I can lend to you, if you need referrals or recommendations, I'm here. Whatever, however I can assist you during this transition period, let me know. Got your back, but unfortunately, we can't keep you any longer. We can't afford it." That's compassion. That's being gentle. You're not being brutal or what have you. You're showing sympathy and compassion. You're saying, okay, yeah, I know that you're out, but I'm not going to leave you. Like you said, Mage, I'm not going to take your legs out for money. If you want to be brutal, this person was a douchebag or a dick, like, hey, clean out your office, you're done. What do you mean I'm done? You're done. You're out of here. Get your ass out of here. You got 5 minutes. I'm calling the police. You're done. You're not going to work this place ever again. Get the fuck out. And it can be a whole lot more brutal, a whole lot more savage than that. Same news, two different styles.
Right.
You don't have to deflate women and just slam the needle in the balloon and just watch them explode. You don't have to do it like that. But you have to be honest with them. You have to. And to be perfectly honest, I will always prefer the gentle truth. But it's a whole lot more compassionate to deliver brutal news in a mean, harsh fashion than it is to give soft, gentle lies, because it's the soft, gentle lies that have brought us to where we are right now. What that woman was speaking, unfortunately, she is not in the minority. There's a whole plethora of women that think the same exact way or not too far off, and it's because they've been allowed to just have this fantasy, mythological Disney mindset. And look where they are. And these are women who aren't necessarily bad women. They may not be, they're not perfect women, but more or less they're average women. And there are a lot of average men who would be thrilled to be with them, that would be happy to have them. I would love to build something wonderful and real with them and could give them a great life, and they can give that man a great life. And because they have this horrible mindset, they are voluntarily cashing in the chips and saying, nah, I'm too good for that. I'm better than that. I know my worth. I will either get the king that I deserve or I will have nothing at all. And I'm willing to stand on business. And unfortunately, a lot of them are willing to do just that. And then you have some who later on in life, they come to the senses and realize, you know what? This hostage situation I'm cooking up here, it ain't working out. Other side ain't negotiating with me. Let me see if I can go ahead and, get back that same 5 or 6 dude who was checking for me, and 5 or 6 is done. He's got someone. Or he's decided, you know what, I'm still open, but it's not going to be you. You have the chance. You're not going to come back to me now that you've exhausted every other option. Which he's perfectly right to do because he has self-respect. And now here you are. The options that you had before have dried up. Playing a zero-sum game based on false information, based on lies. And what that man was saying was absolutely right. But it goes back to some other conversations we had earlier. It's a generation that thinks this way. There are some women who can be rescued, who can be opened up to the truth, but for the most part, once you reach a certain age, you have to face facts that it's too far gone. These women have invested too much time thinking that way. They've already burned a lot of bridges, tossed aside a lot of opportunities they had in that thought process. They're too invested. They almost have to see it through to the end now and hope that they were right. Because at this point, it's like through so many opportunities, I could name about 2 or 3 guys that I had that I knew were wonderful, that were great, but I just thought I could do better. That's very difficult to swallow and digest. We got to start reaching to these girls early. And that's why I said, God willing, when I have my children, not just my daughters, when I have my daughters, however many I have, or sons, we ain't playing that Disney princess crap in my home. We're not doing it because that's where it starts. We are not incorporating this mindset that there's a Prince Charming waiting just for you. He has the whole world on a string, but somehow you're the one missing piece in his life. Nobody else, just you. And he's going to move heaven and earth, ignore everything else before him just to get to you. It starts there, and because it's never corrected, it grows and grows and festers. You got to start with your young girls, and you have to start with the young boys. Do not teach them that it is their role to basically be the fallback man, the crash test dummy for a woman who couldn't be bothered to look the way before, but now that everything's dried up, well, I guess you'll do. No. This is a 360 problem. It doesn't just affect the women, it affects the men as well. You raise your boys to be of substance and value, so they first off have that self-worth, and then later on they can know I'm not a revolving door. You don't get to, walk past me and then come right back because you're changing my mind. It doesn't work that way.
Well said.
Well said. Definitely well said. I do want to show another video of how delusional a lot of these women are, since the topic is beware of delusional women. And here we go.
Men are the coolest, but I don't need them to survive.
You do actually need men to survive, and here's why. Everything that you see around you was built and created and maintained by men.
Okay.
Everything. The infrastructure in this country, in every single country in the world, is built, created, and maintained by good, honest, hardworking men that just want to provide for their family. Everything, the roads you drive on, the buildings you live in.
You guys think all sports should be gender neutral?
Yeah.
Why?
I just think it's fair. I don't know.
Do you think it's fair to have boxing gender neutral?
Yeah. I don't want to see why not.
I think a girl can kick a guy's ass and a guy can kick a girl's ass, for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
For sure.
Why?
I just think that a girl could definitely do it.
Huh.
Think again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6. It has nothing to do with your background. I don't think you really have the highest EQ out of all of us, not taking in other people's point of views and compiling results, but really just came down to his body language, his demeanor, the way he carried himself, the way he acted towards the group. Me, I don't know. PhD, cancer biology scientist. I work in a biotech company. We make 19 testing kit.
Number 3 will be Tyler. And number 4 would be Shada. Number 5 is Sean, and number 6 is
Why is Ms. Miller saying you're not Zaylee's father?
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred. She just doesn't want me to have visitation. I drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off.
He loves his daughter, but you don't want him to have the visitation. Is that true?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father. Miss Miller.
Be respectful.
Sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child. You just showed me where your priorities were right there.
I'm sorry.
Because I held out hope that you weren't just acting a fool because you so mad at him because he cheated on you that you would cheat your child out of a father. But that cheering you did, what you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
How much would you pay to fuck both of us?
How much would I pay to have sex with both of you?
Yeah.
Individually or at the same time?
At the same time.
I wouldn't do that. I have a lovely girlfriend. Oh, are you walking away?
What if you didn't have a girlfriend?
If I didn't have a girlfriend, I probably wouldn't pay any amount of money.
But then we wouldn't fuck you.
Yeah, that's okay. What movie do you wish was porn? Yeah.
Poseidon.
Poseidon? Is that a movie?
Yeah.
I've never seen Poseidon. Is this
Educated.
I'm not educated? No. Oh, I'm sorry. You just asked me how much I would pay to fuck you, and you're like, you need to read.
And said, Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay. Are you like,
Chase, how dare you be transphobic?
Yes, actually, what the f do you mean?
because if I had sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man, and I don't want to do that. Because I'd be gay if I had sex with a biological man.
That's not gay.
That's
And I I don't don't even even catch up the f actually. She's right. I mean, that's really
But
hateful,
she's not, would technically be homosexual. A trans woman is a biological man. Sue me, it's true. You know what God said? It said he made them man and women. Who knew that stating biological facts would make people walk off the show?
Lived in a matriarchal society that was run by women, what would the man's role become?
The hard workers, and we'd be the bitches at home.
Isn't that exactly what we have right now?
Yeah, you're right.
So why would a matriarchy be any better than a patriarchy if that's exactly what we have right now?
Okay, sorry, I contradicted your question. Too many tequila shots.
I feel like the opposite would literally happen. You know, women would end up, bringing in all the bread, working all the time, and then it'd be the men that were at home taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning.
But do you think women want to do all those dangerous, dirty jobs that are typically done by men?
No, I can absolutely say they will not.
So then wouldn't the man's role pretty much stay the same as doing all the hard labor jobs?
Honestly, yeah, and then it would just add fuel to the fire because it'd be, as a man, not only do they have to go, do all the working and stuff, they also have a wife that's at home not taking care of the children, not cooking, not cleaning. So then at that point, it's just like, why do you even have a wife?
Easily rather be with a man with an unwashed ass than a man who calls coffee a cup of joe.
You have 5 new messages from Mom. Did you get the porridge cream? Homo cream. Hemorrhoid cream. Don't laugh at me. Never mind, I hope you die.
Tough shit. You're a man. Get your shit together,
Marriage actually has like.
All right. So that's the video I just wanted to show everybody about how, delusional these women are. And I know tonight's show is about delusional women. Beware of them. But I do want to say that a lot of women out there, there are delusional men. And a lot of the delusion that come from men is men trying too hard to change women, complaining about women that you guys wouldn't give the time of day to. And we got to stop that. We got to really cut that out. Find the women that really suit you and vibe with them. Ignore the women that's out here on the BS. It's too many of them, and it's time wasting, and it's just distracting. So I just want to show this video from one of my favorite dudes that I think is on the mic. He definitely be chopping up some good game, but he talks about that. All right.
Her titties out. Don't. If you don't want the woman with her titties out, don't with her. What I mean, fam, is this a woman out there who present herself in such a way that you'll be attracted off the rip. Like you'll see her and be like, okay, that's the one, not Man, if she closed her blouse up just a little bit and maybe stopped wearing heels in the club, even though I'm in the club looking at her and I'm attracted and it's the reason I'm about to shoot my shot. All I'm saying is, fellas, we gotta stop being goofy, because often, like, we let the lady say, oh, you can't change no man, you can't raise no man. You can't change none of these neither. You're not insecure for asking a woman who be having her titties out to put them up. You goofy. You asking women who been in the club every weekend for the past 4 years to be something different. That's a little dumb, don't you think? Whole time it's women who be at the crib, who be at who be at the fabric store, covered up, still just as conservative as you want, but you don't be there, Nick. Matter of fact, while she at the crib covered up, yo, still fitting to be in the club. Quit playing. I get that, like, the ladies got their things, they got their gripes, they got their that they be up with, whatever, what have you, but we not tight enough to call them on certain, you feel me? We got to check the predatory thinking and ways within our circles before we start talking about how women dress, G. Because it's way too many of us that look at women as objects regardless of what they got on.
All right, so I just wanted to.
He was doing all right. He was doing all right until the end. And that's the problem I have with that particular individual. He be spitting some real shit and then he'll start simping. He'll weave the simping into the real shit that he's saying. You understand what I'm saying? No. Yes, he is right about most of what he was saying in the beginning of that clip. Yes, we do overlook good quality, solid women a lot. And we're not in the places that they are. And when we do encounter them, we ignore them. That's real. You understand? What up, Shooter? What up, Janae? All right. Shooter say, I'm glad I don't have to date. Women are so dumb now. Bruh, it's different. You know, and look, it's not all of them. You just have to have a very thorough vetting process, because what's happened is being a hoe has become acceptable. You understand? And simple-minded women see that hoes are getting certain benefits, or they perceive them to be benefits, the things that certain hoes are getting. So they say, well, shit, let me try that. I'm cuter than her. I got a better shape than her. If she can get a Benz, I can get a Bentley. It's that type of shit. And they don't realize that, you know, a lot of times at the other end of that Benz that she got, she had to take a trip to Dubai and let a nigga shit in her mouth. They don't get that. They're not making that calculation. So you got to be very careful about that. But back to this simp that was just talking. I don't like this guy because he runs hot and cold too much. He was all the way to the end. He was popping. And then he's like, oh, we don't have our shit together enough to be talking about, you know, the way that women dress or whatever the case may be. That's bullshit. Look, there's something called right and there's something called wrong. Nigga, if 50 years ago it was wrong for women to be running around half-dressed, or there's something wrong with women running around half-dressed, because a good percentage of us don't have our shit together, doesn't mean that it's somehow right now. And because Beyonce walk around with no clothes on, and Rihanna walk around with no clothes on, and all these women in the media, Nicki Minaj, you name them, they all run around half-dressed. Just because that has become the order of the day does not make it acceptable. You understand what I'm saying? Just because Tristan Thompson is out here cheating and knocking up a whole bunch of women, and Nick Cannon is out here, you know, doing what he does, you know, that type of behavior does not make it okay. We got to get outside of this thought process that, oh, because everybody doing it now is cool and we can't say anything about it. That's how the fuck we got here, because we're not saying anything about it. So that's the one issue that I have. And he always does this shit. He be saying some real shit, and then at the end of it, he'll fuck it up with some bullshit. Bruh, I don't like dudes like that, because what happens is you lose credibility like that. You got to be 100 with it. You know what I'm saying? You got to be trillion with it, to the point where, like, yo, every now and again, this person, he might get it wrong, but boy, his ass be spot on. He be hitting it. See, he knows that he's pandering. He knows that the last part that he said was some bullshit, but what he does a lot, this is a tactic, is he'll say some real shit, and he knows that it's going to kind of piss the women off. So he'll slide in some bullshit at the end to appease the savages. Not the women, but the savages, because again, a lot of the hoes done took over. So good, solid, decent brother. I said that wrong. It's not that I dislike him. I dislike that he does that because he knows exactly what he's doing. And that shit is green. You understand what I'm saying? But for the most part, what he said is solid, and what he says is normally pretty solid. You know what I'm saying? But that part at the end, I have an issue with, and I have an issue with it because it takes credibility away from the other real shit that he said and usually says, if that makes sense.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You know, and that's why I say we have a platform where we go in and correct a lot of stuff that's out there, because like I say, I understand he's on that platform, and even though he's on a big platform like that, he should at least be mindful of how he presents everything from start to finish. So I will agree with that. You know, there are some things that he do say that I don't put up on this page because I understand that, like I say, the platform he's on, they bring the women in, you know, they get their money, however they do their shit. I don't even vibe the guy who originally started Ace. Ace blocked me on Facebook because I held him accountable. I held him accountable when what's his name went what was his dude? His right hand man went down. Derek Jackson went down, and I called him out on it. And when I called him out on it, he got mad and he blocked me because what I was saying some factual shit. You can't throw somebody under the bus that you was riding in the plane with. If you got to throw yourself in that same, you got to crash in that shit with him. Don't sit here and throw him out the damn plane and act like, oh, you distance yourself like, man, he's bad. And I was like, damn, you slandering the man. And the man actually gave you a voice and a platform to where you at now. You know, it's just grimy shit like that people do for the money. So I don't respect these, but those are the two that I do respect on there, because all the other ones are they just be saying some silly, dumb shit. But when it comes to Kitty Rose and Trip, those are the two most sensible ones on the panel. And then, you know, I don't have no issue with Kitty. Kitty be straight shooter with what she say. She's a therapist and everything like that. And Trip do say some things that he do start off right, and then he'll come and tie it in. And that's why I take whatever he say and we come on here and we check it just like you just checked it. You know, so the people understand what's the real and what's fluff. What they're trying to, what the fluff is, he's trying to sell these tickets because their show is sold out everywhere they go. And two of the main reasons why is because of Trip and Kitty, because they say a lot of great shit.
True.
You know what I'm saying? And that's pretty much, there's people out there that I see the same way, you know, their broken clock moments, like Corey Holcomb. There's a lot of shit to say that I don't really fuck with and I don't vibe with. Everybody be on the Corey Holcomb train. I just don't, you know, certain shit he say, I fuck with. Certain shit he say, I just be like, oh.
It's off. It's way off.
Yeah. It is what it is. So I think
people looking for a savior. They don't know how to take what you need and disregard the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand. A lot of people don't have discernment. Once somebody like you, oh, I like them, oh, I fuck with him. Oh, they believe everything you say.
Yeah.
That ain't it.
I won't even say it's discernment. It's laziness.
Yeah, that's why I say
let's be honest. It's laziness. People don't want to have to think. They just want to be given a safe option all the time.
Right.
Yeah, that's what makes this platform so dope, because we don't sell fluff. We give it how it is and the real shit. And that's why we get the results we get when the people that watch the show. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't out here, we don't sell you dreams. We tell you exactly, we arm you with information so you can go out that door and come back. When you log off of this, after watching this, you can go out there and arm yourself and fend for yourself and your family with the information that we give you. We don't go out there and tell you some shit. Then when you get in a real in-depth conversation with some brothers and sisters, and then your ass, that shit that you got in your head that they feeding you, go to that conversation and you getting your ass whooped. You out here looking like Rocky when he was hitting Drago the first time. You know what I'm saying?
But May just said,
you know what I'm saying?
You told me.
You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you guys are getting the right information. That's why everybody come over here. You know what I'm saying? So that's the real reason we give you the correct narrative, and it's not nothing to check anybody on their shit. We just telling you what is the real deal. That way you go out there and be successful.
Yeah.
Pretty much majority of the time you go out there, depending on how you deliver the information. But we give you the information, so if you deliver it right, you'll get the results that you need to get. And I'll land my plane on that.
Bobby.
Ultimate facts. I agree with you, Major. I haven't seen a whole ton of his clips. I have seen some that had me looking like, and usually it wasn't a whole message either. It was a part of what was being said.
Right.
But more often than not, he's on point. But I think again, it's that same thing. Man is in. I don't want to say he's in show business, but like you said, they go on tour, they sell tickets, they will need people to show up, and they're trying to cater to a specific audience. The vast majority of the people that are spending money on the tickets are going to be women. So therefore, if you go all in with the truth, as we highlighted before, you know there's going to be a whole lot of egos that are bruised and damaged that's going to want to come for your neck, and they're not going to really patronize you. And if they do, it's going to be for the purpose of starting problems and drama, and it's not going to be productive.
Yeah.
The whole show that's meant to lean towards helping people is going to be basically fighting with people and rebuking people and everything, and that's not good for sales in the long run. So he's trying to go ahead and slip some. On the flip side, he's putting a little. He's trying to put some nutritious stuff in a light poison. He's trying to put the candy in a poison coating on the flip side. But that's also, in my estimation, irresponsible.
It is irresponsible. That's my
irresponsible. Point. And that's the issue I have. I actually have, even though I wouldn't necessarily go at his neck like I would go at their necks, I actually have more of an issue with people like him than your hardhead, some of your winosphere, red pill hardheads that just want to go at women's necks, because those dudes, at least, they're being honest. And the dummies that just speak and don't know any better, that's the case. But when you have a brother like him, he's intelligent. He knows better.
Yeah.
When you know better, you have an obligation to do better. People are relying on you. They're looking at you for guidance and for wisdom. And here you are slipping them nonsense because you're too worried about your numbers. You trying to help me, or you trying to keep your packets padded? That's the problem.
Yeah.
And what that means is that's also dangerous, because that means that you're going to help me to a certain extent. There's a limit. And most of the times, anyone that's worked in mental health services, if you've been a teacher, if you work with people in that capacity where you're trying to make breakthroughs and help overcome obstacles, especially mental limits, you usually understand that right where you get that resistance, that pushback, that's the demarcation line. That's the breakthrough line. That issue that you're getting heavy resistance on, that's typically going to either lead towards that person's breakthrough, or that's the problem right there. And if you can just get that person to sit down and deal with the issue instead of putting up resistance, fighting you, deflecting, causing an argument, just walking out, or whatever the case may be, that's where the person's results are going to come from. But if you're only willing to go so far because you're too concerned, well, you know, if I tell them the truth, then I would pay for this ticket.
That's weak.
You're never going to get me there. You're going to get me to a point, and you won't be able to get me any further. So you'll always get me right to the edge. I'll be a little blunt about it. You being a tease. You get me off. You get me right to the edge, but there's no release.
All sizzle and steak.
That's addiction too, ain't it though?
Hey.
Yeah, I'm high right now, but 5 minutes later, man, that was enough. I need a better hit, man. You can't do that to people. Either you're gonna help them or leave them alone. Don't go in half and half. Don't tease me. I need healing, damn it. I don't need to be 50% healed of cancer. I don't need to be 80% healed of cancer. I don't need to be 99.99999% healed of cancer. Get all these goddamn cancer cells out of my body.
Right. Facts.
So we had to be mindful and we had to be responsible with that. But outside of that, what he said was spot on. And you have to really be mindful of that. I don't agree with what he said. I'm going to tackle that really briefly. There are no perfect people. If you are waiting for perfect people to address issues, guess what? The issues never get addressed. And if
Correct.
issues never get addressed, nothing ever gets better. Nothing ever gets better, then we're in a perpetually worsening shithole of a situation. I don't need to be perfect to call BS on somebody. I don't need to be. I don't need to. Whether I'm a pack-a-day smoker or never touched cigarettes in my life. If I'm telling you smoking is bad, it's unhealthy, it's not good for you, that's still the truth. If I tell you that with the Newport hanging on my lip, lit right now, that doesn't take away from what I said.
Right.
Stop looking for reasons to go ahead and not do what you know you're supposed to do. Because I've also seen people that had no blemish, nothing on them, and people still didn't listen to what they had to say.
Yeah. Right.
When you want a problem, you always gonna be able to find a problem. Oh, this person ain't perfect. You can't tell me what to do. Perfect person. You think you better than me. You looking down at me. Well, God. So ultimately, the question is, do you want better? Yes or no? Because if you want better, if you want the game, you're not gonna care where it comes from. All you just want to know is it gonna work? Yes or no? That's all that matters. So if you want that, then whatever the source is, it's not going to put you off. But if you're trying to look for a reason to escape doing what you know you're supposed to do, then there's never going to be a reason or a person good enough for you to go ahead and take the next step forward.
Yeah.
It's on you. We can lead you to the water, but we can't, and we're not going to try to make you drink from it. That's your responsibility.
Well said.
All facts.
Definitely well said. All right. So with that being said, we are out of here for tonight. But before we go, we definitely have to. Oh, you know what? Let me address this real quick. Bobby, you had put this in a chat. Did you want to elaborate more on it? Mindset of an Indian gold digger, girls. Alpha bleeps, beta bucks. If I were Rahika, I would live with Anant for 1 year, make a child with him, divorce him in the pretext of domestic violence, claim alimony and child maintenance, send my child to a boarding school, marry my boyfriend, and live happily. Dream.
Wow.
Yeah. That was something that I encountered in my random travels on social media. Social media is a jungle, but it wasn't necessarily meant for this. Just when I found, it was like, God dang. But just a couple of things that I took away when I saw that and read that. First and foremost, it's sad that was an Indian that's an Indian couple and an Indian woman speaking. Hey, Kamala. And
it's
Kamala. It's Kama Sutra. Anywho, I thought it was funny that yes, they do too. We're not talking about them tonight, but yes, they do too. Thank you for joining us, sister. Truth is truth. I don't care. But it's interesting that first and foremost, to all you wonderful, blessed passport brothers.
I know where you're going already.
It ain't just this side of the Atlantic. And it ain't just this side of the Pacific.
Yeah.
Women everywhere. That's the first one. Second of all, it's sad, unfortunately, because I've seen a number of stories where that, minus maybe one or two details, played out exactly that way right here in the States. And this is one of those issues that, again, we're talking about delusion. This is where women need to step in. This should not be something that gets a "you go girl" or a thumbs up or a laugh or anything.
Right.
this woman is here not just talking about basically destroying a family, ruining her child's upbringing, creating a broken home intentionally, but she's talking about lying and using domestic violence as a means of securing a bag,
Yeah, that's pretty
of pulling a finesse.
Yeah.
I do not want to, and I welcome the smoke. I said it before. I'm a whole entire chimney. Bring the smoke.
Yeah.
I take care of whatever flavor you want to bring it. I'll take the hookah. I'll take the smoke. I'm all that. What's up? I do not want to hear any woman complain about domestic violence and its severity. I don't want to hear any woman advocate for the seriousness of domestic violence if she is going to turn a blind eye or not go off on women that lie and use it for revenge or as a come up in some way, shape, or form. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it because you're a fraud. Domestic violence is a very serious thing. It's a very serious thing, male and female alike. To lie about that when we have victims who don't get taken seriously, we've seen the stories, we've seen the movies, the films, the adaptations, we've heard the stories, we've seen the news reels about primarily women who are in situations they cannot escape, and because no one takes it seriously, they disregard, okay, it's not that bad, they downplay it only to find a body the next day, or some grotesque activity happening, or sexual assault, or something occurring from that. Do not raise all kind of Cain about how it's not taken seriously, and you have women who are advocating using it as a game plan to secure a happily ever after. I don't want to hear that. It should be a cardinal sin for a woman to lie about sexual assault or domestic violence. It should be a cardinal sin. Every woman who hears about it should line up and take turns to beat this dog piss out of that woman. How dare you?
Yeah.
But instead, she can make a statement like that and feel comfortable and confident about doing that?
Yeah.
Show her face with that? Hell no. That's definitely a case of burn the candle at both ends. So if you are sincere about that, this woman in that thought process need to be dragged to the gates of hell and back. Period. That was my second thought. My third thought on that was, God bless the internet for all the mixed bag of nuts that comes with this thing. Social media, especially, there's a lot of BS, but we should be grateful that we have mediums where people can speak their minds freely. We can actually see this played out in real time. Because there was a time when you had men who were victims of this sort of thing, and it was basically just their word. People just, they didn't believe them, they didn't think it was that bad, or they didn't really understand the depths of the evil that was perpetuated against them. And there's some men who were victims of it and didn't really fully understand the depths of what actually took place. It's like someone broke in your house, and you're not sure what all exactly they took from you. You know they took something, but you just can't point it out. But because you have people who are that arrogant and narcissistic to go ahead and make comments like that, with all that brass, it lets you see the depths of how depraved some people are. So you can really be on your guard and be mindful. This is out there. And again, this is what she said. She laid out a whole blueprint for it. And whether she has or hasn't done that before is irrelevant. It has happened to people. It's happened. So don't get arrogant and think, oh, this could never happen to me. Oh, sure, it sucks to be him. Might suck to be you real soon. Be mindful, be aware, see these things. You don't have to go ahead and cast the aspersion that every woman does not think that way. Every woman does not have that kind of thought process in their head. But there are some who do.
Yeah.
And it's on you to do your due diligence to properly vet them, to properly understand people and human nature and what people are capable of, and never get to a point where you're so caught up in your feelings and your emotions and everything that you forget that this is a possibility. This doesn't mean that you need to go ahead and constantly keep your eye open around the people that you're with, but to be mindful that this is a thing and to do what's possible to protect yourself and them to make sure that you both are safe and secure as much as possible. And when you see a red flag, don't play the ostrich game and bury your head and try to ignore it. Take it for what it is.
Well
Well
said.
said.
Yes.
Definitely. All right, so we're going into our last segment of the night, which is our crown check. And our crown check for tonight is this young lady right here. Boom! Meet the 36-year-old woman who has made history as the first Black female cardiologist in Canada, achieving a remarkable milestone. So this woman is Alexandra Bastani, has made history of Canada's first Black woman to interventional cardiologist. At 36, her incredible achievement is a milestone in healthcare, inspiring future generations. Born and raised in Montreal, she's defined expectations to follow her dream. And people don't know how big that is, right? So when I went and Googled it up, as of 2019, there were 1,507 cardiologists in Canada. All right. So think about that, right? If it's only 1,500 cardiologists and she's the first Black one, man, that's mad props to her for achieving that. And we always talk about, me, I always talk about medical apartheid.
Yep.
This is a wonderful book right here. Definitely a book that everybody in the medical field, or even not in the medical field, just people, especially Black people in general, to understand the in-depth and the dark horrors behind the medical field. And for somebody like that that looks like us, that represents us, there's a sense of pride and a sense of accountability for our peoples to make sure that we are always in self guards and safety as far as making sure that we get the best treatment as possible, and also to give us the real deal and not the fluff, and not to sell us out to big pharma. So for her to be in that position that has some kind of relativity when it comes to Black patients and family members that are coming in there to consult her about a surgery that she has to conduct, and informing those Black individuals as well, there's a comfort that comes behind that as well. You know, everybody knows once you hear surgery and you have to go into surgery, a lot of things run through your head, and it kind of helps to have somebody that is very knowledgeable on that side of the fence that can come over and relate to you like a little sister, or she might come off as an auntie, a cool auntie, or something like that, or depending on how young that individuals might be, come off with a motherly type of love and endurement as well. So for her to do that, to break that barrier, to give us the relativity, and just know that you have some representation in Canada, that's a remarkable thing, and I just wanted to highlight her on that. So I land my plane on that and hand it over to you guys.
Yeah. Shout out to the sister, man. Make this real quick. I know we got to get out of here, but shout out to the sister. Very powerful achievement there, and I think it speaks a lot to us having representation in medicine. That's a very important thing. People don't realize. A lot of people just don't know about how Black people are mistreated in the medical industry. A lot of times Black people go places and they mistreat us, and they don't give us the proper care because we are Black. It is one of the ways that they discriminate against us. There was a sister not too long ago who was in the medical field that blew the whistle on some people who were operating on a patient, and they did some real sideways shit, and they were talking about the fact, I think that, if I'm not mistaken, they were trying to retrieve a bullet from someone's body, and they were making jokes about them being Black and being prone to crime or something like that, and she came out publicly and blew the whistle on that shit. And she was treating him kind of jank. They were treating him kind of janky as well, you know, as far as the service he was getting. And we need Black folks in the industry for that purpose. You know, among other things, you know, it's always a great accomplishment. Firsts are good, you know, but we need brothers and sisters that we can go see about our health that are going to be honest with us and are going to be fair to us, you know. And I'm assuming that that's in good faith and not one of these self-hating Negroes that get in those spaces and mistreat people because they hate Black folks. They hate themselves. I'm assuming she's not one of them sisters. So that's what's up. I'm very proud of that sister. Salute to her. Shout out to her. And, you know, I just want to encourage everybody out there, man, you know, in keeping with the topic of today's show, you know, beware of delusional women. You know, what you just did and what we do every week when we have the Crown Check segment is significant to me. It's one of the most significant parts of the show because we go out of our way to highlight a woman that is doing something fly, that is doing something respectful, that is doing something decent, that is doing something honest. You know, I get so tired of seeing Black women get praised for carrying themselves like trash, you know, and I don't see a lot of these other people who are always out here pretending that they advocate for women and women's rights. They don't do things like that. The extent to which they advocate for women's rights is they talk about how pro-choice they are, as if women's rights begin or end at the right to kill a child. You know what I'm saying? How you feel about abortion one way or the other is on you. I'm not saying be pro-choice or pro-life, but I think it's very fake the way a lot of these women get out here and advocate for women and women's rights, and all they talk about is abortion. There are a plethora of things that women are not treated well on, that their rights are undervalued on, and their voices are not heard on. And I never hear them vocal about those things. I never hear them talk positively about women in a general sense. But as soon as somebody says something about abortion, here they come, trying to look for something that they said. Yeah, exactly. With their fake ass outrage, trying to look for something that they said that is somehow offensive so they can wag their finger and get their panties in a bunch. That's bullshit. I want to see more people talk positively about women, particularly Black women, and particularly Black women performing the action. Particularly Black women being talked about, and particularly Black women performing the action. Because I hardly ever, I had a sister today tell me she thinks I have a problem with Black women. I have never seen this woman post positively about Black women. I do all the time. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I help Black women all the time. You know, and no shade. Not that she doesn't feel positively about Black women, but I don't see her. She's criticizing my post, but I don't see her post positively about Black women nearly as much as I do or anybody else. So I want to really put that out there, put that energy into the universe. Hopefully people pick it up and run with it, because sisters are phenomenal, and the phenomenal sisters don't get enough attention. Our good sister Felicia often says that we have to water the flowers that we want to grow. So I'm going to land with that. And, you know, when you do that, I think that it begins the healing process. And, you know, it helps people kind of let their guard down, because they understand that people who are critical of them are not necessarily against them. You can love someone and be critical of them. In fact, many a time you are critical of someone because you love them. And that is the disconnect that I see in the dialogue with a lot of sisters that I think we need to kind of repair. And I'll park the shit.
Who said that quote?
Felicia. Felicia says that all the time. You got to water the flowers that you want to grow. She says that all the time.
Oh, okay.
That's something very valuable that I got from her, that, you know, she says quite a lot, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to her for that, and shout out to the sisters out there that's doing it right. I feel you'll have a lot less delusional women out here if we begin the process of, you know, just kind of reaching out to sisters in a positive way and letting them know that we are not the enemy, and that we need each other. I think we need to be on that and be intentional about that.
Yeah, definitely. And stop feeding into these reality shows and this Tyler Perry Beauty in Black. I mean the vitriol behind it. It's just too much. There's too much negative aspects of how we treat each other, and these films are just making it worse. Lee Daniels, I talked about it with Lee Daniels' Deliverance. I talked about it with these Tyler Perry movies. It's just too many black on black vitriol going on with each other. We got to eliminate that shit. Start to vibe towards some positive stuff. And I really wish that we had somebody out there that would build a studio and produce positive movies. There's so many great stories out there by phenomenal women, phenomenal men, and have stories that talk about how we treat each other like humans and not as arch enemies. And I wish somebody would do that, not get 220 acres in Atlanta just to make trash ass movies and shows. You know, we gotta start turning the dial on that, and do better. But I'll land my plane on that. Go ahead, Bobby.
Facts. Big ups to that sister up in the America Junior up north. Phenomenal job. I hope that she has a long and very successful career. And I hope that she will make use of her status and will really work hard and make part of her mission to go ahead and to get more black women, more black men into that field and in the medical field, period, as well. Especially in those areas she's from. I believe said she's from Montreal. So a lot of black folk over there, a lot of black folk in Toronto, in those areas. And again, Canada may not be known for it on the scale of Americas, but Canada is a nation that does deal with its fair share of racism and white supremacy up there as well. Because we understand that those aren't American byproducts, that those are global entities. And so if we can have more of us in those places where we can, if nothing else, just feel safer, feel better, know that we're able to better connect with the people that are administering our healthcare and are responsible for our very lives, it'll definitely go a long way to enhancing our health outcomes in Canada and other places. So big ups to her. Delusional women, man, watching out for them. I think similarly, that's actually a good segue and a good tie-in for tonight, because I do believe that many people would see delusional women as its own issue. But I think delusional women should be looked at as a public health crisis. Because we are a community of people. We're not islands, we're not individuals. We are individuals that live amongst other individuals, and we form community, we form society. And so, like any ecosystem, is a careful balance that has to exist. When one element of the ecosystem is out of whack, the whole ecosystem is out of whack. So if you have a low quality of women, that's going to negatively impact the men. This low quality of men, that's going to negatively impact the women. No matter how much you want to fuss and fight, we can gender war all day long. Men versus women, women versus men, blah, blah, blah. We can do it all day long. But we cannot escape the fact that we are two halves of the same whole. Heads and tails is still part of the same coin, and that's us. And as long as we're at each other's necks and throats, neither side is going to be happy. There is no victory. There are no victors of the gender war. There's just two losers, the men and the women. And as soon as we figure that out, as soon as we're willing to make concessions and get our minds right, the sooner off we all will be. However, that cannot happen randomly out of thin air. There's a sentiment that a lot of people use as like a garbage, washed up, recycled post or where they want engagement. They'll always say, I'm tired of men and women fighting. Can we just clear the slate and just get back to loving one another? Can we just call a truce? Okay. I think we've spoken about that before. And it's a nice cutesy sentiment, but really it has all the value of a Kleenex tissue. Because that sentiment gives the impression that we're squabbling and feuding for no reason, just because. And it fails to take into account that there are some gripes and some issues that are legitimate on both sides. Some legitimate gripes that the women have with the men, and some legitimate gripes that the men have with the women.
Yeah.
And until we're able to come to the table, this is a negotiation. Until we're able to come to the table, put the issues we have on the table, and not in an emotional, dysfunctional way, but in a mature, rational, logical, solution-oriented way. Say, these are your issues, these are our issues. How can we solve these together? What compromises can we make? Until we're able to do that, no, we cannot get along. The gender war cannot come to an end. It's not going to come to an end. And any attempts to do so without solving the issues are just going to cause more problems. So delusional women, that is an issue they have, but it's one that affects us abjectly. We need to solve it together, because it's the only way we can solve our issues, together. We need to start telling women the truth. And the motivation for us to tell women the truth has to be from a place of love, care, and concern. Not because we're trying to get our rocks off or because we're trying to hurt other people to make ourselves feel better. That can't be the source, because they're going to feel that. When we attack the issue from the front with love, then they're going to feel that and they're going to respond to it even if they don't know they're responding to it. And women need to learn to be open to correction. Even if the source is negative coming your direction, that doesn't mean that it's false. I don't have to like you to accept the truth that 1 + 1 is 2 from you. You telling me 1 + 1 is 2 and someone I like telling me 1 + 1 is 2, the answer isn't different because it came from a source I like versus a source I don't like. We need to get better at chewing up the meat and spitting out the bones. And so if we're looking to become better, if we're looking to grow, which we all should be doing, we should be on alert for growth moments and opportunities where even if someone who we know means us no good is in our face telling us the truth to hurt us, we can hear that but still take the truth and become better from it. So that's what I hope that women will get from this. That's what I hope that the fellas will get from this as well too. So once again, we'd like to thank you all for rocking with us for yet another week. We do this every week, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, you know what I'm going to tell you to do. Go ahead and like, subscribe, and share what you've seen tonight. Go ahead, look for that little bell icon, click on it, and select all notifications. We will not bombard your notifications. Your news feeds will be safe. But when it's 8 o'clock, when we go live, when it's time for us to do our thing and have this family chat that we have with y'all, you will know about it and you'll be able to join us in the spot that we call Manifestations 2020. I want to thank those who joined and interacted with us in the chat. Go ahead and link up with us. Follow us on social media. Join the Manifestations 2020 group. Interact with us. Let us hear your thoughts. Go ahead and share some ideas with us. We love to incorporate them in the show. We're always open to a good debate. If you want to chop it up with us, we can arrange that as well too. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, get at us. We ain't hard to find. Until next week, much love. Appreciate y'all. Stay safe. Manifestation 2020, we out.
Peace.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
Man up.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestation. Man up. Manifestation.
Man up.
Manifestation. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You gotta eat what you kill. You gotta go out there. You gotta hunt for your meals.
We all have that ability to connect with people, to be that motivational person in somebody's life.
You gotta let people know there's certain lines you don't cross and that there's gonna be consequences if you do.
Man up.
If you are an adult and you are in a relationship, that person's emotions are not your responsibility.
Man up. Manifestation. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestation.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
The devil, during slavery, destroyed the masculinity or manhood of the so-called Negro. No man. No man. Right now you got to be trained all over again to be a man.
When someone is obligated to do something, it is binding upon them to do it. And failure to do it causes reaction.
Man up.
Position make you rich. I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life forever.
If that people knew that glorious past, if that people knew that glorious past, if that people knew that glorious past, then they would be more inclined to respect themselves.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
You want to tell me about yourself? Go get your friends. I'll tell you who you are based on who your friends are.
Don't just live and die. That's an ugly existence. Make your life matter, make your life count. Live a life where people can actually mourn you for the things you left behind, not just because you were around and existed.
We need strong black nuclear family.
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is. Mother, father, son, daughter, all in the same house with a focus on the family unit as a whole.
We had Tulsa, Atlanta, New Jersey, Detroit. We had Rosewood. We had Black Wall Streets all over.
The Republicans aren't for us, but the Democrats aren't for us either. And we should have no alliance to any political party. We only have alliance to what is in our own best interest.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up. Manifestations. Man up.
A place where we inform.
Manifestations.
A place where we inform, build, and inspire.
At the end of the day, as men in the community, we must stand together and be counted, because people look to us for guidance, leadership, and protection. And if we are not about that business, we are not on our job. Here we have grown-ass man conversations in the spirit of that purpose. Anthony Malcolm, Bobby Drake, Major Gage, we are. This is Manifestations 2020.
Manifestations.